Hello, welcome back to the channel. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modeler Bench, and now we have part 5 of the Hachette Lancaster bomber B.III. It's a Dambuster and in 1/32 scale, so quite a beautiful model this is going to be. So I'm going to repeat myself here because I have to. This is basically bundle 2. So bundle 1, when you subscribe to this build, you get part 1 and 2 in bundle 1, and you get the free tin plate poster to put on the wall. And then in bundle 2, you get parts 3, 4, 5 and 6, and in there you get a pen, which is very, very nice indeed, which I've shown you in parts 3 and 4, but I'm going to show you again in case you haven't seen them. There it is there, Lancaster bomber pen. You can see on there we've got the Lancaster bomber B.III engraved in there. It's got a lovely turned brass end and everything. Very, very nice indeed. Nice little extra thrown in there. It's in a nice box with a magnet for closing and everything, so that's very nice. If you're thinking, hang on a minute, I've seen him do this before, you're not going mad. You have. I started building this and then contacted Hachette and they agreed to sponsor a build, so you're going to see this one right the way through, so all the way to the end. So we're going to get this open. As I say, this is part 5. Just going to cut this bag open without damaging the magazine. Go, so we can get all this out and we can put the bag over there, and then we've got the parts here. So as you've seen in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, we've had these lovely plastic trays filled with bits. We're now into the fiddly stuff, and you can hear in there's some bits and pieces, so very, very nice indeed. Right, I did actually hear somebody mention that they had a part missing from part 5. So it'll be interesting to see if I have a piece missing, because they contacted Hachette for a replacement part, and with their proof of purchase they were able to get a complete replacement pack, so that was good. So part 5, as usual, we'll start looking at the magazine, and if we open up the magazine, do the usual sort of bump in here. We've got all about how to subscribe and how to contact the company and customer services and all that, all worldwide, and everything. That's really good. I'll put a poster up now so you can look on there. Across the bottom of there you can see the website you can go to actually see about getting one of these for yourself and building it. You've also got the QR code there that you can scan on your phone, and that'll take you straight to the website as well. All down on here you can see, and also in the description below this video, across the bottom here, you will see there'll be a link to a YouTube video where you can actually go and see it moving in video and everything. 2 things that people always mention, which I'm going to mention in every single video I expect. There's no dihedral in the wings. This is a pre-production model. Hachette have assured me that the actual finished model will have the correct 7-degree dihedral on the wings, so don't worry about that. Another thing people talk about is the propellers spin backwards. If you go back and look at part 1, I've shown you in there how to actually correct the pitch of the blades, and then all you need to do to make the propellers go the right way is change the polarity of the wiring. I would suggest you don't do that yet, because Hachette will probably get wind of that, and then they will come along and change the wiring in the box, which is going to be in the stand, and they'll have the props go in the correct way. Most people wouldn't worry about it, but some people do. And of course, as you all know, if you follow my channel, I'm a stickler for accuracy. And on that note, with this one, I'll be building this out of the pack as it comes. But if you want to see me build one, make some changes, improvements, changes in colours, you're going to see that as well. So there you go. So going in the magazine, as usual, we've got a list of parts there with all the images, and as I've said many times before, the beauty of these is you get names for all the parts. So if you want to learn what trim wheel that is, it's the rudder aileron trim control. So it's great to learn these little things. So going into the pages, we've got the instructions here on what we're going to be doing. You can see there's a lot of detail work. There's some quite fiddly stuff in here, but you can watch the video, follow on with me, and I'll make it as easy as possible for you. The biggest thing with this is test fit first. Okay, so going into the magazine, here's one of my favourite Lancasters. If you are following me with my border models Lancaster, I am building that as this model, as this aircraft, but not in this scheme, because this is actually not correct. This was the Battle of Britain PA474, done up as WSJ, still going strong, but in this period she didn't have the yellow borders around the letters, and she didn't have the white tails either. That was actually after her finished service she had all this. But basically, yeah, if you want to build WSJ in 1/32 scale, you can get the decals and everything to do it from Kit's World, but again, they're incorrect. I've spoken to DN Models, and they have actually made, that's DN Models, DN, Delta November Models. They have made a mask set with the correct lettering. So they've got the correct stenciling with the stencil style, you know, W4964, and they've got the correct shape S. Nobody else seems to have done that. So there we go. So W4964, very, very famous aircraft, did over 100 missions. She bombed Tirpitz with a tall boy. She bombed everywhere. It's a very, very successful aircraft. There's even a book about it, so you can go and have a look at that. So there we are. There's some lovely pictures there of the Lancasters. There's lots and lots to read about WSY in here. WSJ, sorry, WSY. She's number 9 Squadron, W4964, and here you can see the detail of her nose with all her bombs. You can see there's the tall boy, and then there's one there. You can see it's got the D in there. And what was it saying? I did read it in, of course. How stupid of me. You can see that there's mission 71, and that was actually flown on D-Day. So they've got the bomb as an outline, and they've put the D in the middle of it. So that denotes D-Day. And this, I believe, is going to be looking at the surroundings. I'm not sure if that's either Just Jane, or in fact, I think that is Just Jane, because it looks like it's got the. No, I maybe I'm not sure if it's the Battle of Britain Memorial or if it's Just Jane. Just Jane has the later turret further up with the 250 cals. So Raid on Dresden. This was terrible. We've talked about this before, haven't we? I think it was in part 3. Hundreds of Lancasters and B-17 bombers raided Dresden, and it killed tens of thousands of people. You can see there Dresden has just been absolutely and utterly annihilated. Terrible, terrible thing. An eyewitness there who was there, Lothar Metzger, a child at the time of the Dresden raid. A night in hell, I can imagine it was. And then Lord Cheshire, Leonard Cheshire, VC, the commander of 617 Squadron and founder of a charity for the disabled, was an exceptional man in time of war and peace. And there he is. Front row, third from left. That's him there then. So wonderful. Great guy. And then going over the back here, we have what's coming in issue 6. So you can see we've got some instrument panels coming, rudder paddle. We've got some control levers for the instrument panel. And then we've got our magazine coming as well with all some bits and pieces. So let's have a look at the build. So we'll go to the front of the magazine. And we will open up our box. And as always, we will get our parts out. You can see we've got the parts are all in bags. These little boxes are really handy for keeping stuff in. So we've got the seat and our armoured protection there, and then we've got some little bits and pieces here. So what we can do is get all of this out, or we can leave it all in the bags. Now a lot of these pieces are tiny, and if you're not used to modelling, you may well struggle. So I would suggest getting hold of a pair of tweezers like this with a fairly round end on them so you don't get damaging. I'm going to put the light on because it improves the lighting, but it's not so good for looking at the magazine because of the glare. But get some with a rounded end, and it makes it less likely to scratch the paint on the parts rather than the pointed ones. So what we could do here now is lay all the parts out on the bench, and we can check we've got everything, or we can leave it in the bags. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to turn the camera off, get all these out, and I'm going to lay them out as they're laid out here, and then we can check we've got everything. Alright, so as you can see, we've got all the parts there laid out exactly as they are in the book, so you can see we've got everything. So if you're working in a tight cramped space or something, I wouldn't suggest doing this because you might put something down and flick a piece across the floor. So if you've got an open space like I have here, it's a good way to check everything. If you want to, then you can scoop it all up, put it into a box. I'll leave it all there so you can see me take it as we use it. So going into the magazine, the first part we are going to do is grab our pedestal from part 4. We can see there we've got the pedestal with that side panel fitted in like so. I'm just going to actually take this out again because I'm not happy that it's not all the way in. So what I'm going to do is take my knife and just gently scrape, just one little scrape down each side, just to put a little bit of clearance in there, because it is a very, very tight fit. Okay, so we'll see how that goes in there now. Straight away that's a lot better. You can hear it presses in, but it's not sort of it's so tight. So if we want to put some glue on there we can, but we really don't need it. So there's our panel in there. When we come to our other build, I'm going to be changing the colour here. This here should be black. The sides should be green. I'm not sure about that. I think the front should be green as well. But this should be black. But this here should be green, black. Okay, so I'll be doing that so you can see me do that. I'll also do some work to highlight all this detail on here. But this actual model I'm building now will be out of the box, if you like, as it was intended to be done. But we'll use the modified special parts in the full-size build. Right, so take the pilot seat platform assembly from the previous issue, check the fit of parts O5J, O5K, O5N, O5M in the holes, part O4C, remove any excess paint. You may need to use tweezers if necessary. Glue the parts in place by using, by applying a very small amount of glue to the pegs with a cocktail stick. Right, so we're going to take this and we're going to do some test fitting. So the first thing we're going to do is O5J, which is our Bombay, I think that's our Bombay release. So we'll grab some tweezers and that's going to go into that hole there. So does that fit in there very easily? It does go in, but it needs quite a push. So we're going to push that in. Whoops. Push that in with our tweezers. It's very snug fit. Okay. We'll glue it in a second. And then next we've got O5N, which is the little connector for the intercom. That's what the pilot would plug his face mask into. So that's going to go in there. We've got a D-shaped hole and the flat is sort of over at 45 degrees. So again, that's a tight fit. So that's going to go in like that. You can hear it. Everything is tight. And then we've got O5M and O5N, and they are the stops. These are the legs that go in, and they will stop the control column from being pulled too far back or pushed too far forward. So that's what they do, and they are a much looser fit. Okay, so now as it says in the book, now I'm going to use this glue here, which is VMS Flexi 5K CA. You can get this from Premium Hobbies or you can get it from Scale Model Shop. But this I think is one of the best super glues on the market. It lasts a long time. It doesn't dry instantly. It's very good with capillary action. So I've got a slight drop here on my Pringles lid, and all I'm going to do is come in from behind and put a drop in on each of these pins, and it will capillary in around the pin and hold it in place. Okay, so there we go. If you really want to make sure, put a drop on the top and you'll be able to watch it sink down in. And then these parts over here, we got those in. Remember, they were a very tight fit. We can put some glue on them and let them capillary in. If you really want to make sure as well, what you can do is just give them a wobble, and that'll make sure the glue, you can see on this one here, so it was a very tight fit, but you can still see the glue is capillaried into that joint. So that's good to know. Okay, so if you just really want to be sure, you can give them a wobble, give them a pull, push, whatever, and that will make sure that the glue is capillaried in. So yes, this is fiddly. Don't be put off. Please do not be put off. I was watching Scott's build of this over on Building with the Boys, his channel. Very approachable, very lovely chap. And he was saying that people are giving up because they're finding it too fiddly. It's not going to be like this all the way through, I can assure you. This is probably, maybe the undercarriage will be a bit fiddly, but this is probably the only fiddly part. I mean, the tail turret's probably going to be fiddly, but follow me, do everything I do, and there's no reason why you can't do it. So moving on, similarly check the fit of parts 050 and 050 on the platform. If necessary, glue the parts in place. So these are I think these are parts of the seat support. So this one's going to go into that hole there. And again, it's a D-shaped hole. And it's a fairly snug fit, but it's not over the top. And then this one here, again, I love the way they do all these D-shaped pins. It's absolutely foolproof. You really can't go wrong. And that one's going to go into that hole there. And that's a very easy fit, so that's good. These are parts of the actual seat frame. I'm not going to glue them yet until the seat's in place, because we may want to move them around a bit. Check the fit of the seat support frame 05E and the seat platform. Note the orientation with 4 feet of the supports with raised rims as indicated. Glue in place if necessary. So we've got this frame here, and you can see we've got this angular piece on the back there. That's going to go to the side, and these 2 vertical legs are going to go towards the front. So I'm going to use my tweezers to position this. So we'll come down and we'll position this there over that frame. We've got the 4 holes there for the pegs to go into. Again, they're all D-shaped holes, so it shouldn't be able to put it together wrongly. The only trouble is a lot of it is a very tight fit, so it may actually feel wrong that it's so tight going together. But if it is really tight, just please double check that you are getting it right. I've just put my finger on some super glue underneath, which isn't good. So they've all gone in. Now, as I said, if you remember, I said I don't want to glue these because I might want to move them. I'm just going to push that one underneath there like that. Okay, I'm going to pull that back one out a bit. It just needs to give it a bit of a twist. Go. So that's gone into there, and then this one, same on the other side. You're never going to see it, but if you know it's there, you want it right, don't you? So there we go. So that's that all in. So what I'm going to do now is come along again with the super glue, and I'm going to put some on all these pins where we have just fitted parts. You may be wondering why I'm not using the clear glue. It's because I want to be able to see that the glue's gone in. And that's the beauty of the black stuff, as you can see where it's all gone. Okay, so that's that done. So we're now done up to that step. Now we're going to pick up the rudder aileron trim and the elevator trim control. So this is the elevator trim control here. All right. And then that faces forward, that goes to the side, and then this rudder aileron trim is going to go in here. We've got a D-shaped hole, although it doesn't matter the orientation. Now that, I think, is going to need a touch of glue. Actually, having said that, no, it doesn't. Okay, so that's gone in there, and then coming over the page, we're going to slot this into that hole there. Again, we've got a lovely D-shaped hole. And it is that one, isn't it? Yes. So that's going to push down into there. It's a very tight fit. Again, if you want to remove some paint, you can, or you can just push it in. I think we're going to have to remove some paint on this one because it's also twisted. So what we'll do is just get that out. What I'm going to do is remove some paint and plastic from the flat on the D, and that will make it go in easier, and it will also help us to get it sitting square. I'm still tight, so I'm still going to remove some more. Let's just scrape some paint away from there, just like so. Push it in. There we are, just like that. Then on the back of there we can put a drop of glue. just to hold that in place. So that's our trim controls fitted. So now we've got the landing gear lever. So this one's here, and this one's going to go in behind, and that one is, the rear one is fine, the front one is tight. So I'm going to get my digital caliper. Now I know everybody doesn't have these, but I'm going to measure this. Yours will be the same. That's 0.95. So we can take a 0.95 drill from our micro box drills. I thoroughly recommend you get some of those. And that's gone in there easy. So there must be, I know I've got the wrong drill in the wrong place. Yeah, that's a 1mm drill, and that's gone in really easy as well. So it should just fall together here. I don't know what's going on. So that's going to go into that hole there and into that hole there. Nope, it does not want to go in. It must have some flash on it or something, and now it doesn't want to come out. So what we can do is just continue to push it in, because if you try and pull it out, you may well break it. And we'll put a drop of the super glue on there, just like so. What you could do is build all this and then put the glue in afterwards if you want to, and then you don't have bits of wet super glue lying around. So we've done that. Now we're going to start on this pipe work at the back. Now I may decide to glue this in or not. We're going to see, but let's just go with it and we'll see what happens, because I don't want to glue anything in place that's going to be vulnerable to getting snapped off. Because remember, we've got to store these parts. I've got all my parts here in a box, like you can see, and you know, when it's all stored like that, things are going to get broken if you're not careful. So we've got this pipe here, which is 0.55, and we've got to make sure when we put this in, okay, we've got this feature here, which is a hole sticking out the side. You can see it's different to that end, okay. It's the only feature like it. So we've got that hole there. And if you want to make things look a bit better, you can see along the top of here, we have what's called a mould seam. There's like a line running along the top. And if you want to just make things look a bit better, you can just gently scrape that away. And the manufacturers have thoughtfully used a plastic which is similar in colour by the look of it. So it doesn't really show. But it doesn't look nice when you have those mould seams. Especially if you do what we're going to do later on the other one, is using washes and stuff. So that is going to go in there, and that we've got to make sure that that feature that I've just shown you is facing backwards. Okay, so that's got to go in there. We've got to make sure it's facing backwards, just like that one is there. Then we've got 05C is going to go in this side. Now what I'm going to do is remove this pipe just to check the fit of this first, and once again that small pin is the problem. So we've probably got some mould seams or something on there causing us some issues, so we'll get those off. Still doesn't want to go in, so we'll grab a drill. We'll grab a 1mm drill. See if that helps. I would thoroughly recommend getting yourself some drills. There you go, it's going in now easily. So what we can do now is just push that apart. We can grab our tweezers. We can hold that part, put it in the side there, like so, and then plonk it into there like that. Okay, so that's all gone in lovely. Now there's no need to glue that pipe in place at this point, unless you really want to. But we can come in underneath and put some glue in there to hold that one in place. Okay, there we are. Right, so we've done that, and now we've got this other pipe which is going in across the back. So that's this one here, and again we need to make sure we've got this in the right orientation. So that's the upside there. It comes along and it goes up. So you can see on this side we have another little extension for a pipe. Make sure that is on the left hand side. So, and again, we've got this seam along the top, so we can remove that. Okay, and if you want to make these really stand out, you can plop a bit of silver paint on them or something and make them really bright so they look good. So that fits in there. Okay, and it's quite a tight fit, so again I'm going to remove any mold seams or anything from there to try and make it go together a bit easier. If you follow the rule, you know, don't force anything, it's usually the best way. Never force things. So what I'm going to do now is grab another cocktail stick with a finer point on the end and just put some glue into that hole there. I'll put some glue into that hole there. Then we can plonk that one in there like that. We can plonk that one in there like that. And then we can push that in. You can hear that go in. That one's gone in. So there we are. And then if you want to, we can give it a little squeeze with the tweezers just to make sure it's gone home. And there we are. So that's all gone in nicely. Okay, so that's that done. Right. Then coming over the page. Okay, this is the bit we are going to miss out. It's now asking us to add these two pipes. So we've got this little pipe here, which is going to go, is it that way? It's very difficult to see. I believe it's that way. So it's going to kick off. So this is the top end here, and that's going to go into this one, like so. Okay, but I'm not going to fit it because, as you can see, if I fit these pipes, they are going to be sticking out of the back and they're just going to get snapped off. They're going to be sitting out the back like that and they're just going to get snapped off. So I'm not going to fit those two pipes. I'm going to put those to one side for now. We'll bag them up in a minute and put them away. Okay, so we're going to miss out that section there. Don't do that yet. So what we can do is grab one of the bags that our parts came in. Okay. Open the bag up. Place those pipes in there. And then we can put them in our, I'll use a curry pot, a Chinese takeaway curry pot, and we can pop those into there, just like so, for safekeeping. We know that everything we've got is in there, everything we need is in that curry pot. Okay, so moving on now, we've got the flap control lever. So that's the one with the silver top on it there. So that is going to go into that hole there. And that's a very loose fit. So we'll make sure we put some glue in that one. And then this one here, this is the emergency brake, or the manual brake, the manual bomb release. And that one's also a loose fit. So finally we've got parts that just fit. So get those turned over, and then what we'll do is we'll get a drop of super glue. I use the bigger one because we'll get a decent blob of glue on there. And then we can just put some glue on that one. And we can put some glue on that one there. So that's our manual bomb release and our flap control. There we go. This one here, this manual bomb release, that's particular to the Dambuster. So if you're looking at pictures of a B.III, like you know, like the one at Hendon, or you're looking at Jess Jane or whatever, they won't have that lever. Don't worry, they haven't made a mistake. It should have that. Okay, so now we're moving on to the seat. Now I'm going to talk about something here that Hachette have got wrong. They've done a lovely job of the seat belts, but this part here, 05P, is actually, when you look at it, you look at the description, it is called seat strap bar. And the reason for that is, if I think of it, I'll put an image up now and it shows you how it should be. what they've done, they've given you the bar, which is this tiny little piece here, okay, but they haven't put the straps on there. They've got the straps coming over the back of the seat as normal, and also this had a Sutton harness, and this is nothing like a Sutton harness. We'll leave this one as it is, okay, but on the other one I am going to show you how to improve the look of this area and make your model a bit more accurate, a bit nicer. On this one we'll leave it as it is. And of course, if you're going to get some figures to sit in here, then you don't need the straps at all, because the straps will be moulded to your figures. Okay, so that's going in there, like so. Okay, that's in there. That's our seat strap. That's where the harnesses should go. And now we're going to add this armour plate onto the back. Now this is, I did this before, it's fairly awkward. You need to make sure you've got it the right way round. The first thing you'll notice on the bottom of here, there is a sprue nib, so we need to remove that. Okay, so make sure we've got that sprue nib. And there is also a mould seam. So I'm just going to scrape that away as well. You can sand it off or cut it off or whatever. I'm just going to get rid of that mould seam on the edge. It affects the way it goes together. Now this is going to go over the seat, and we need to make sure we've got this plate the right way around, so the hinges are at the back. So that is going to go in that way around. Now these bits here will fit on. You've got 05X and 05W, and they are a very tight fit. So this one is 05X. So that is going onto there, he says. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in here first. So that is going into that hole on the back. And then we're going to put the armoured headrest, armoured plate in there. Go into those holes, please. Thank you. And then this 05X is going to go into that hole in the front of the seat there. Okay, and as you can see, it just doesn't want to go together, but it will. It will go together, as I will show you now. And then this one here, this is 05W. This one's going to hook into the back of the seat here, and then go into the front of the seat here, just like so, and then just push that in. And as you can see, it does all go together. It's absolutely fine. If anything, it sits forward a little bit too much. There we go. Okay, now you can try it both ways. In fact, what I'll do now, while the camera's on, I'll take it off. Okay, and we'll try it the other way round. And as you can see, it doesn't want to go because those pins are at an angle. That wants to sit that way like that. So this is this one here. So as we said, this is very fiddly. If you're not used to modelling or whatever, you're going to find this extremely difficult. But persevere with it. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. There we go. So that's going in there like that. There we go. And then we're going to turn this over. Oops. Get that into there, like so, and then get that one into the front of the seat there, just like that. Okay, I'm finding this quite awkward now. As I say, it is awkward. And I've just knocked that piece out of there as well. I'm going to get this done off camera and then I'll come straight back and I'll show you how it looks like it did just now. Okay, so a couple of tips here. I've discovered this piece here, this little, the upper bit for the straps, if you drill that hole through, okay, it's going to be covered up by the armor plate anyway, just drill that hole through, that fits in there a lot better. I've used a 0.95 drill purely because my 1mm drill is blunt. And the other thing is, just with the drill, with no handles or anything, no pin vise, no pin chuck, just open up those holes there in the top of the seat that your armor plate goes into, and also make sure that you have scraped away that mold seam on there from the bottom, and you will see then that this armor plate fits much better. It even stays there on its own. Okay, so thoroughly recommend doing that. Now we should be able to get all this to go together. He says because the camera's on, it's going to play up, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. As I said, don't let this put you off the model, guys. This is probably, I would say, from my experience, of building this up to part 7 already, I would say this is the most fiddly part of all. But you can see that by making those little changes and just drilling the holes and making sure there's no paint and flash and plastic and stuff in the way, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. See how well easy that went together then compared to what I did before. So now we've got it like that and we know that it's all good, we can take it apart again. Alright, we can put a drop of glue in those holes. And then we can, in fact we can put a drop of glue on there as well at the bottom. And I'm going to grab a cotton bud and just remove some of that from the top because I don't want it to ooze out and be all visible and coming out on the top. Having said that, this seat should be black. Okay, so that's that glued in place. Then what we can do here is, have I got the right one? No. Hold it in place. Put this piece in 05X. Put a drop of glue in that hole on the seat. Those holes don't need to be opened up. I put a little bit too much on there, so I'm just going to go with the cotton bud, just remove the excess. So we've only got super glue in the hole. You can see now there's no super glue anywhere other than in the hole. So we can put that in there like so, bring it round on the front and get that pin in there, and there we are, that's that fixed in place. And we can do the same on this side, drop a glue into that hole there. Again, I got too much on there, so cotton bud over the top just wipes it away. And this is the beauty of having the black super glue, you can see that it's too much rather than waiting for it to dry and end up with a frosted white area or a glossy white area, whatever, however the glue you're using dries. So hold that in the top, bring that around the front, just pop that into that hole, and that is that done. Now if you want to, what you can do is grab a drop of clear super glue. This is the VMS Flexi 5K CA for PE. Absolutely brilliant stuff, and I'm going to use the other end of this cocktail stick. And you'll see now why I'm using the clear. I'm going to put a drop in there on the front of that hole. Okay, and that will go in and go around that pin and glue it in place. And then we can remove any excess with a fresh ended cotton bud. Don't get the black on there. There we are. Job done. Now on the other one, what I'll do is fill those holes in, paint it all black. But on this one, there we go. So you can see 0.95 drill, just open those holes up a bit, scrape some plastic away from the headrest, and then it just falls together. So, you know, check your fits, dry fit first, and then check it's all going to go together well. Coming over the page now, this is quite a long one, this, isn't it? We've got the armrest going on. Now, you can choose how you're going to fit your armrests. No, you can't, sorry. In reality, you can see on here, we've got a sprue nib right on the top of the armrest. See it in the middle there? And that doesn't look very nice at all, does it? So we'll just get a sanding stick and we'll just get rid of that, and we'll get rid of the mould seam as well, because they didn't have mould seams on them, they were leather. And then what you can do is just pop some green paint on there, should you wish. But I'd even rather have that than have the big sprue nib on there. So that's going to go in the side of there like that. So what we'll do is we'll grab a drop of super glue into that hole like so. Pop that armrest in there. There we go. And then this one. What I was going to say when I started talking about the armrests, generally I think you'll find that armrest would be left folded up because the pilot would move it to get out. But on here they're slots rather than pins, so we can't actually move it up. This one again has got the, you can see it's got the mould seam down the middle, and it's got the sprue nib. And this is something, if you're into scale modelling, you know, manufacturers sometimes don't pay much attention to where they put their sprue nibs, their sprue gates. They could have easily put the sprue gate on the end or on this end, but they've decided to put it in the middle, right on the top, which is unfortunate. There we go. So we can just check the fit of this one. Fits in there fine. Drop a super glue in there. And then just press that one into there. There we go. Whoops. It's a very loose fit, that one. So it doesn't want to stay there. As I said, this glue doesn't dry instantly like some of the cheaper glues, but you can tell by its name it's called Flexi 5KCA. It's not all brittle and hard like a lot of the other super glues are. It remains fairly flexible. So we're just going to bend those in and make sure they're nice and straight, make sure they're level with each other. And there is our seat. And I know the harness is wrong, but it does look lovely, doesn't it? And then what we're going to do is we're going to drop the seat down, and you can see we have two large square holes in there. We have two large square pegs on there, so we're going to drop this seat down onto those pegs, and that's it. Now that's not a good enough fit, so what we're going to do is grab some super glue into those holes. Remember, when you put glue in things, it generally acts almost like a lubricant and helps them push together easier, so sometimes helps with tight fits. Okay, so that's gone on like that. So we can push that down. It's not going in square. I'm worried I'm going to break something if I keep pushing it that hard. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, there's like a little slot on this side. I'm going to remove it. Makes it tighter to go together. I think it's designed to have it sort of wedge in, but it's not helping at all. It's hindering. There we go. Look at that. Straight on. It's gone in square. Now I'm a bit worried about pushing down on that plastic frame, so I need to find something to put. I've got my pointer tool here. I need to find something to put underneath there, so that when I push down, I'm not pushing on that frame. And there we go. We've moved that armrest over, so we'll get that back over like that. And that it looks like that's come out of its hole. It's really not a very good fit at all, that arm. So what we're going to do is put some more glue on there. We'll get that in there nice and solid. There we are. Get them twisted round so they're in the right place. And there we go. That is our pilot's compartment. And I think you'd agree, I mean, we've had some people commenting in the early days about this being like a toy. But, I mean, there's more detail here than you actually get in the Hong Kong models Lancaster. So, you don't get any of this pipe work in any other kit other than the border models one. The little trim wheels aren't included in the Hong Kong models one. So yeah, it's very, very nice indeed, and I think it's lovely. It really is lovely. So it's an enjoyable little build actually. It makes a change for me not to have to keep painting everything and stopping to let something dry and adding photo etch and this, that and the other. Talking about photo etch, you can see here we've got these lovely little photo etch buckles, which aren't strictly correct, but they've gone to the trouble of giving us some buckles, eh? So there we are. So that, my friends, has been part 5. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all back for part 6. So control levers and other details have been fitted to the pilot seat platform, and armoured panel and arms have been fitted to the seat, and the seat has been attached to the platform. That's what we've done, and very nice it is too. As I say, leave those pipes off at the back there. They're just going to get snapped off. We'll fit them when we put them in the fuselage. Those pipes are going to come out of these 2 holes here, that one there and that one there, and they're going to come down and go into holes in the side of the fuselage. In fact, we've got that here. Okay, there's going to be something else down here it's going to connect to, because it's going to sit something like that in there, and those pipes are going to go into something down here. So there we go. Right, thank you for watching. I will see you soon for part 6, and then we'll have another wait, because I'll be waiting for bundle 3 to come through then. I might get in touch with them and ask if they can send it quicker, but we shall see once I can catch up with the other guys then. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.